It is midday in Damascus. It's 1:30 p.m. in Tehran. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World One, live from London. Trapped in conflict, torn by loyalties, and bloodied to the core. On the first anniversary of Syria's uprising, there is still no sign of a reprieve for its people. While the regime of Bashar al-Assad is doing all it can to stay in power, the UN says more than 8,000 people have been killed in a ruthless campaign of repression. Others have taken the decision to flee. About 30,000 have headed across the border into Jordan, Lebanon, and into Turkey. That is according to the UN's latest estimate. And amid a humanitarian crisis, the international community has been unable to agree on just how to respond. Two legally binding resolutions have been put before the Security Council, both blocked by China and Russia, which is a major arms dealer to the regime. Meanwhile, the shells continue to fall. For the thousands of people hoping for some sort of respite from the bloodshed, activists say 2 people have been killed in Idlib so far this Thursday, a day after the town reportedly came under government control. And Turkey says 1,000 refugees from Syria have crossed into its territory in the past 24 hours. CNN's Arwa Damon is following the very latest developments from neighboring Lebanon. She joins us now from the capital, Beirut, with more on that. Arwa.
Hi, Monita. And even if families are in some cases able to escape the shelling, the incredibly intense shelling, they are still not able to save them.
Okay, Arwa, thank you very much. Arwa Damon there in Beirut. Well, Britain's Guardian newspaper has a series of reports based on emails. It says it was shown by opponents of Syria's president, Bashar al-Assad. It believes the emails come from private accounts belonging to President Assad and his wife. Members of the opposition Supreme Council of the Revolution apparently intercepted the messages between June 2011 and this February. On the Guardian's front page, the headline is, "Exclusive secret emails lift lid on life of Assad's inner circle." The article goes on to say Bashar al-Assad took advice from Iran on how to handle the uprising against the rule. And it goes on to say Assad made light of reforms he had promised in an attempt to defuse the crisis, referring to, quote, rubbish laws of parties, elections, media. Another story based on that information drawn from the emails is headed music, self-pity, and shopping inside Assad's gilded cocoon. It says, while the country was rocked by Assad's crackdown on dissent, his inner circle was concerned about the possibility of getting hold of a copy of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 or a new chocolate fondue set. And another article from the same paper, a man of surprising tastes, Assad's iTunes account. Well, that story says the emails between Bashar al-Assad's account and iTunes give an insight into the Syrian president's state of mind and reveal a man with wide and sometimes surprising tastes. Just before Christmas, Assad ordered Don't Talk, Just Kiss by Right Said Fred. You might remember that band. They shot to fame with the hit I'm Too Sexy. Well, The Guardian says it has made extensive efforts to authenticate the emails by checking contents against established facts and contacting 10 individuals whose correspondence appears in this cache. It says the checks suggest the messages are genuine, but it has not been possible to verify every single one. Now, if those emails are a genuine insight into what's been happening in Syria, they suggest Damascus has looked to Iran for advice on how to respond. CNN's chief international correspondent, Christian Amanpour, has been speaking exclusively to Mohammad Javad Larijani, the head of Iran's High Council for Human Rights. He is a close advisor to Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. She joins us now to talk to us about that conversation. Christian, what more did you learn about not only the regime within Iran in itself, but also, obviously, what is worrying everyone else, and that's their nuclear capability?
First, on the Syria issue, I asked Mr. Larijani about that because there is evidence and reports that Iranians are advising the regime of Bashar Assad. And Mr. Larijani said to me that they do not want any outside interference.
It's always good to hear it from the other side as well, from the Iranians as well, to hear what they're...
And we'll have much more of this interview on later.
Yeah, we look forward to your show, which debuts April 16th as well.
That's right.
Christian, thank you very much for that. We return to Syria now, and we want to show you some live pictures from the capital of Damascus and what appears to be the U.S. military says it has flown the army sergeant accused of killing 16 Afghan civilians on Sunday out of the country. The Pentagon says he was moved to Kuwait because it doesn't have a long-term detention facility in Afghanistan. U.S. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta is wrapping up a two-day visit to the country today. A few hours ago, he met with the Afghan President Hamid Karzai. CNN's Sarah Seidner is in the capital, Kabul. She joins us now live with more on that. Sarah.
Yeah, there was a meeting between Mr. Panetta and Mr. Karzai, as well as Mr. Panetta's counterpart, the defense minister.
Seidner there in Kabul. Nicolas Sarkozy is fighting for his political life. The man who's slain some of France's sacred cows, like the right to take a pension at the age of 60, is campaigning for a second term as president. As Jim Bitterman reports, his pitch to voters is that he had the courage to administer bitter medicine for the health of the economy. This is World One, live from London. A mining operation in Zimbabwe has become the focal point of a dispute between campaigners against the trade in blood diamonds. The Mar15 field has the potential to generate millions of dollars a year in revenue, and that makes it an extremely valuable source of funding for Zimbabwe. But the charity Human Rights Watch says mining operations there are characterized by forced labor, killings, beatings, and rampant diamond smuggling. Robin, thank you. Robin Kerner reporting to us there from Harare. You're watching World One, live from London. Only 2 weeks ago, it was a football team in disarray, but now Chelsea are celebrating after one of the biggest nights in the club's history. Alex Thompson is here to tell us more about that.
Yeah, Monita, they lost the manager amid reports of sinister player power. They slipped out of the top four in the Barclays Premier League.
You have Pedro's piece in your show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Alex, thank you very much for that. You are watching World One, live from London. Most women wouldn't expect their bosses to ask them personal questions about birth control, but in Arizona, the law could soon let them do just that. This is World One, live from London. We are approaching almost 7 a.m. in New York, almost 1 p.m. for you in Berlin, and it's almost 9 p.m. in Tokyo. Now imagine this. Your boss calls you into their office to ask why you're taking the birth control pill, and you tell them it's to stop yourself from getting pregnant. Now, if you tell them that, you'll probably lose part of your health care coverage and possibly even your job. Legal rights campaigners say that's the upshot of a bill going before the state Senate in Arizona requiring women who want health coverage for the pill to prove they're not taking it to prevent pregnancy. If we want to take a look at some other stories that are trending on social media right now, at number 3, an ex-Google employee has taken to his blog to launch an attack on the tech giant, and his post is getting a lot of clicks online. James Whitaker headed an engineering team for social network Google+. In his post, he said Google had become, quote, an advertising company with a single corporate mandated focus. At number 2, another angry rant about an employer. Former Goldman Sachs executive Greg Smith is still a top search online. He called the bank toxic and destructive in an opinion piece he wrote for the New York Times on Wednesday. The article's been shared extensively across the web. The bank said in reply, his claims do not reflect our values. That's what they said. Now, at number 1, President Obama is hoping to galvanize support by releasing a video on the web later today. The film is a look at Mr. Obama's presidency so far. It is funded by the Obama campaign and narrated by the actor Tom Hanks. The preview for the film has been viewed nearly 500,000 times on YouTube. Now, spring is not officially even here, but parts of the U.S. are already feeling more like midsummer. We want to go to Mari Ramos at the World Weather Center with more on that. Mari.
I tell you, my hair is feeling it. That humidity, that you start getting. You know what it's like, Monita, living here in Atlanta when it starts getting hot. But we're only mid-March, and definitely we're looking at temperatures that are well above the average. Overall,
Mari, thank you very much. You're watching World One, live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us.